Would you like to know how you can manifest your destiny? My name's Kalia, and in this video, we are going to dive into destiny and how you can manifest the life that you were born to live. So, what is destiny exactly? Well, destiny is your soul's calling. It's your highest path. It is what you were born to do. Some people might say it's their astrology chart or their heart's desire or whatever it is that they feel destined to do. Now, if we're going to get a little bit more practical with it, I would say it is your highest path for your life. So this can be where you have your greatest skills, your greatest abilities, your highest talents, your greatest desires. And your destiny doesn't always have to be your career path or what you're doing for a living. For example, you could have a destiny to travel the world, and although traveling the world could be part of your career path, you could be a travel vlogger or writer or something like that. You also might travel in another capacity. You might have a job that you work online or a business that you work online that allows you to travel the world. Or you might just earn a lot of money and take time off and travel the world. So it doesn't necessarily have to be tied to a career path, but that might be your destiny is to travel and see all kinds of different places. You also might have a destiny to be with a certain person. So we always say, well, we were destined to be together. It's almost like all roads lead to that person in your life. And that happens too, where you might just end up with that person that you feel in your heart and your soul who you are supposed to be with. That's also not tied to a career path. We can also have more than one destiny in one lifetime. So if you're like me, where you've had a series of deaths and rebirths over your lifetime, then a lot of the things that I did were destined at that part of my life. And then that part of me died. And so I went through a rebirth. And with that rebirth is a new calling, a new desire. And so a lot of us do that. A lot of us go through a series of deaths and rebirths in our life where we did one thing for a while and that fulfilled us for a time, but then it was time to do something different. So destiny isn't end of life. It isn't, well, I was always supposed to do this. That could be true, but you could also have a series of things that you were born to do at different times in your life. So if you're following your heart, if you're following your soul's calling, if you're doing what you feel inspired to do, that's what's leading you to your destiny or is your destiny. Most people are pretty fearful when it comes to following their soul's calling or their heart's desire. A lot of people make choices in their life based on what they think they should do instead of what they really want to do. And security is often the driver of that. People do what they think will bring them the most security or will give them the most prestige or attention or money. And it's not really fulfilling, although they may get those things that they wanted, such as a lot of attention, a lot of admiration, a lot of approval, a lot of money, a lot of prestige, amazing title, whatever it is, they may get those things, but those things will not be fulfilling to them. It will give them a sense of identity, but not a deep sense of purpose. So your destiny is tied to a deep sense of purpose. And that's why some people leave these big corporate positions to follow their dream. And a lot of other people are sitting back going, why did they do that? They had all this money, they had this great house, they had everything that somebody would want. Well, a destiny goes beyond those material things that society values above everything else. And I believe that we're really changing now. It's almost like we need to change as a society to be more heart-centered and heart-driven instead of materially driven. That's not really taking us to where we want to go. That's not really fulfilling us. So it's possible, of course, to have both money and be living your purpose and be living your destiny. But you are going to follow your destiny first. And when you follow your destiny first, then that money can show up. It will arrive. But when you're doing something just because you think you should, if you are going to medical school or law school because you know that those are safe, prestigious, and profitable career choices, then that's the reason you're making that career choice. If you're going into those occupations because of a deep desire to serve people, that's different. So you've got to know why you're making the choices that you're making. And if you're making heart-centered choices or inspiring choices that feel good to you, that really feel like you're on purpose in your life, then you know that you are following your destiny. Now, when we talk about manifestation, we use the laws of manifestation, the laws of assumption, the laws of attraction to manifest our destiny. So let's say you feel inspired to be a writer, that it's really deep within you to be a writer, and you love writing and you're really passionate about it, but you don't feel like there's a lot of security in it, and you're not sure how you're going to leave this corporate job to become a writer. Well, this is where the manifestation tools come in as you begin to use the law of assumption by Neville Goddard and really assume that you're already a successful writer, to see it, believe it, feel it, know it on all levels that I am a successful writer. You start to live as a successful writer. You may sit down every day and start writing a certain number of pages, even if you're still at your corporate job. And you're already starting that ball rolling. You're already getting that energy going in the right direction just by writing a certain number of pages a day. And you're really living as if you're already a best-selling author. You're already where you want to be. You're already making a really good living as an author. And that's following the law of assumption. And the more you identify with being that author, the more the universe conspires to make that happen for you. So anything that you feel destined to do, anything that aligns with your soul's calling, you can use the law of assumption and the law of attraction to bring that to you by guiding you from within to the right circumstances, the right people, the right situations for your heart's desire, your soul's deepest calling, your destiny to be made manifest in your life. So be sure to listen to that divine inspiration, to be still and listen and follow your heart's calling. So, does everybody achieve their destiny? No, no, not everybody does. And that is because we live in a very programmed society that says you should do this and you should do that. So we grow up with these programs. I mean, maybe when we're kids, it's like, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And everybody's really excited for you. Well, I want to be a nurse. I want to be a fireman. I want to be a doctor. I want to be this. And when you're a kid, you seem to get a lot of praise for what you want to be, no matter what you decide that you want to be. How reasonable or unreasonable it might sound, you get a lot of support to be that thing that you say you want to be. But when you are an adult going out into the world and you tell your parents, I want to be a musician or an artist, your parents may say, that's not really a good path. It doesn't make money. You won't be very secure. And so you get in your head these programs that you need to do things that are going to bring you security. And so you're going to follow security instead of following inspiration. And that's why you might find yourself stuck in a dead-end job. You might find yourself really afraid to step out and do something different because it might require for you to leave the security of a job that you really don't like anyway. And so, or you might, be okay with your job. You might be like, yeah, I've got a really nice corporate job and it pays well and I'm okay with it, but there's something missing, like you're just not fulfilled in it. But you think, well, I've got it pretty good. And this is what keeps people stuck is the pretty good. They're okay. It's all right. It's not horrible. It's not a job you absolutely hate. There's its perks and its benefits, and it's afforded you a nice home and a nice car and a comfortable life and things like that. So why would you leave that? So oftentimes we don't really fulfill our destiny, our soul's path, our highest calling because we're afraid to take the risk. We're afraid to step out there. We're afraid to give up those things that have made us comfortable. And our ego is really attached to what is comfortable, what is safe, and what is familiar. So if you start to go outside the lines of what is comfortable, safe, and familiar to that ego, the ego is going to give you a lot of resistance. There's going to be a lot of resistance in your life to making a change. You have to be able to move through that resistance to go from this place where it's okay, or even I don't like it, but it pays the bills, to a place of complete fulfillment in what you're doing and be willing to take that risk. So you have to move through that ego's resistance and move out of what's familiar. And that can be really challenging. You've got to move to a point where that unfamiliar becomes familiar and the ego builds up a comfort with that. So now you're over here instead of back over here where you weren't really satisfied. Fear is another thing that really holds us back. It's just, I'm afraid to make a big change in my life. Somebody who has always been employed might be afraid to be self-employed or unemployed. And so that fear keeps them stuck. It might even keep them stuck, even if you're going from a job that you don't like to a job that you do like, you can feel stuck making that change because it's different, because it's not the skills that you're used to working with. It would require making a change. And people can be really afraid of change. People are creatures of comfort. So, in order for us to really fulfill our destiny, we got to move beyond that fear, move beyond our beliefs, our false core beliefs that say that we can't have what we want. And these are what limit us in our life. Well, you can't do that. You can't be an artist. You can't be a writer. You can't travel the world. You don't have enough money to travel the world. How are you ever going to have enough money to retire? We get these programs and we believe the program. And as long as we believe the program, it keeps us stuck. So that's why, with the law of assumption, that you make the assumption that you're already doing that thing you love and you're doing it successfully. So you're already that writer, you're already that artist, you're already that musician, you're already traveling the world, you've already started your own company. Whatever it is that you feel inspired to do, see it as already done and get behind that vision with the power of belief. I believe in myself. I know I can do this because it's my soul's destiny. And that's one thing that's really important to realize is that if your manifestation list has things on it that are not in alignment with your highest soul's path, it may not happen for you, no matter how much you visualize and imagine, because it's not your highest path. So there's a part of you that's not really behind it. But when it is your highest path, then the universe conspires to help you to get to where you want to go. It really does get behind you. It really does become the wind beneath your wings. But you have to hold that vision and believe in yourself enough to know that it is okay for you to step outside the box. It is safe to go in that water. And just to take it one day at a time and continue focusing on the end result of what you'd like to manifest in your life or what you feel inspired to do. So, what is the difference between following your heart and following your soul? It's really one and the same. I'm not saying our heart and our soul are the same thing, but they work together. So either you experience it as a soul's calling or a heart's desire. And if you're following your heart, you are also following your soul. So, however you experience it, and also when I say follow inspiration, you're inspired from that heart, from that soul, from that deeper part of you, from your inner guidance, from your inner knowing, from your intuition. So, it all works together, but it requires us to tune in, to go within and to be still and listen and clear away the distractions in our life. So that might mean getting off social media, getting off Netflix, and just really focusing within and taking some time each day to be still, to be quiet, to listen, and follow that inner guidance, that inspiration. And that takes us to our highest soul's calling, our highest path, which is our destiny. If you're having a hard time focusing on what is my destiny, like really not knowing that you're unsatisfied, knowing that you're unfulfilled, but not knowing where to go, then I recommend that you get a hold of me and we do some work together to figure that out. This is one of my passions that I love to do, is help people to get on their highest path. I really believe that when we are on our highest path, then things really begin to unfold for us. And so you can go to the description below, and there's a link to working with me one-on-one, and there's also a link to my Conscious Creators course and community that you can join free today. And both of these will help you to get started in discovering what you're really here for and how you can get from here to where you were destined to be. So thanks for watching this video today, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.